Okay, since I had a handful of you gone yesterday, rather than call you back to my desk, I'm going to have you watch this video online. Now, you get 7 problems on this test. I'm going to review. You need to do the review packet. Okay, you got a couple graphs. Now, here's y, here's x. They're on opposite sides of the equation, so that means it's in slope-intercept form. If they're on opposite sides with no operation with the y, slope-intercept form. So I'm going to use my slope and my y-intercept. Now my slope is the x coefficient, which is -4. Now since that's an integer, you want to put a 1, so it's a fraction. Slopes rise over run. Okay, rise, run. And the y-intercept's -2. Okay, so 0, -2, you just go down 2. Then -4 means you don't rise, you go down. 1, 2, 3, 4. You do opposite of rise, which is fall, and then run. Remember, you go down and 1 to the right. You don't ever go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, right, 1. Can't really do it again. Now, you would want to use a ruler. I don't have one at my disposal right now, so I just make the line as straight as I can. Not bad. Arrows on both ends. Anywhere on that line, y is equal to -4 multiplied by x minus 2, any coordinate, because a coordinate has an x and a y value. Okay, now here the x and y are on the same side, so it's in standard form. So I'm going to want to find the x and y intercepts. That's why I set up the table with 0 for x, 0 for y. Okay, well, let's write that down twice. 2x plus -4y equals -16, and then again. So x is 0, we get rid of 2x. Y is 0, we can eliminate 4y, and then all I need to do is divide by -4. You're undoing the multiplication. So y equals 4. Then I divide by 2, and that's -8. X equals -8. Now, when you're graphing this, remember what the x and the y are, okay? X is 0, y is 4, so I just need to go on my y. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I go back to the middle, okay? Back to the middle, not from this point. You go back to the middle. It's not like a slope. When you do a slope, you start there, okay? After you get that down, then you use your slope. But not with this, okay? You go back to the middle, and all you have to worry about is going to -8 on your x-axis. Not moving up or down at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I take my ruler, imaginary ruler, and make a line as straight as possible. Okay, now on the next page, it says write an equation with the following information. Anytime they say write an equation, we're going to assume it's a linear equation in slope-intercept form. Slope-int form. So what does a slope-intercept form equation look like? Well, it has equals with y by itself. Then x is here with some number in front of it, and that's your slope, which is m, plus another number, that's your b. Okay, so m and b. Now remember what m means. M's the slope, and b's the y-intercept. Okay, well my slope I know, it's -4, so I can go ahead and put a -4 in that slot. And the b's the y-intercept, which I know, which is 6. Yeah, that's all you have to do in that one. Now in the next two, you're trying to come up with the same kind of thing, okay? An equation that's in slope-intercept form. That shouldn't be a dot there. It's m, and that's b. And down here, might as well set it up. So m and b. And we know m is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. Okay, now my slope here is -4. Okay, easy enough, so I do the same thing. But they did not tell me the y-intercept, which they did here. So I don't know b at this time. So I need some way to figure it out, which I have. I have y equals m times x plus b. The dot means times. We're solving for the b. So get rid of these three things. Now our y value is 3. That coordinates my y and x value. And then my m is at negative 4 times my x, which is negative 1. So negative 4 times negative 1 is 4. So 3 is equal to positive 4 plus b, and then I undo the adding of 4. Well, 4 is positive, I just subtract it. So 3 minus 4 is negative 1. Okay, so we can go ahead and slot negative 1 in there. And if I want to verify that that's correct, I punch in negative 4 times, and then x. So x is negative 1, so negative 4 times negative 1, and then add negative 1 to that. And when I click this equal button, it should be 3, and it is. Okay. All right, next one, same idea. So m and b. So m is your slope, and b is your y-intercept. Now this one, I was really mean. I didn't even tell you the slope. So if I don't know the slope, I use y minus y divided by x minus x. Okay, so let's come over here and figure that out. So here are my y values. I like to punch in 1 and then the minus sign and then negative 5. Now with these double negatives right next to each other, I go plus, plus. Then for the x's, I go negative 5, a minus sign, and then 10. So 1 plus 5 is 6. Now bottom, negative 5 minus 10 is negative 15. Now, on these problems, I want you to do the ABC. But you have one negative on bottom, so move it to the top. Then you can do your ABC. So negative 6, ABC 15, ABC, negative 2/5. So that's your m, that's your slope, negative 2/5. Okay, now they didn't tell me what the y-intercept is. Those are coordinates, they're not the y-intercept. So y equals m times x plus b. Okay, so let's eliminate these. And you can use either of these for x and y. I'll use this one. So y is going to be a 1 value. M is at negative 2/5 I just came up with. Okay, and then x is going to be the negative 5. Okay, so I got to multiply those two. So negative 2 ABC 5 multiplied by negative 5 is 2. So 1 is equal to 2 plus b. Now you undo the adding of the 2. It's positive, so you subtract 2. And then 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Now if you want to check your answer, you can go negative 2 ABC 5 times x, well 10 here. Then add negative 1 before you hit equals, and you should get negative 5, which you do. You could also use the other one, negative 2 ABC 5 times negative 5, and then add your negative 1, and that gives me 1. Okay, now story problems. A golf course has a $100 registration fee along with $10 per round of golf. How much will 8 rounds cost? So there's 2 units of measurements. By the way, I want you to put a dollar sign here for your answer, and I want you to put classes here for your answer. Okay, so with 2 units, I'm going to kind of make these 3 boxes. So I've got dollars and rounds. What I'm trying to do is come up with an equation I can solve. Now, x normally is time, but I don't have time, but I know x cannot be money, because money's always got to be y, okay? Money's dependent on something. So y and rounds is x. So it'd be dollars per round. And I see my dollars per round is 10, so $10 per round. Now I'm going to make my line, but I'm going to put a B, okay, now that we know what B is, and then a little plus, and then MX and Y. So my M is 10. Now, B is a Y value. It's a money value. It's what you had before the 10, which is 100. So B holds a value of 100. So now I can write my equation. I have 100 dollars plus $10 X, $10 per round equals Y. Okay, so I have 8 rounds. What letter should that go in for? It's rounds. Rounds is X, so I put it in for X. So I have 100 plus 10 times 8 equals Y. And when I'm solving for Y has no operations with it, so I can just punch it in on my calculator. 100 plus 10 times 8 is 180. So Y is 180, so the dollars are 180. Okay, number 7. A dance academy charges a registration fee of $15. It also charges $24 per class. A student paid a total of $687. Find the number of classes a student took. Okay, so 2 units. This is going to be my plan. Okay, so you got dollars and classes. Now remember, you don't have a time unit, but we know X cannot be money, so it has to be classes. So dollars per class, and the dollars per class I have 24. So my line, remember you want to go B for the beginning plus mx and y. So my m value is 24. And then remember, B is a Y value. That's why at the beginning of the year I always put Y right there. But now B is a money value, and it's got to be the one that came before, which is 15. So my equation, we had $15 at the beginning. We're adding $24 per class, 24x, because we don't know how many classes, equals Y. And then $687. And this is dollars, so this time it's going in for the Y variable. Okay, so 15 plus 24x equals 687. Okay, so this time I got to do some inverse operating. I can't do it like I did here where I just plugged it into the calculator. X is not by itself. It's being multiplied by 24, and there's a 15 being added. So we got to unadd my 15 by subtracting. So 24x. 687 minus 15 is 672. And then I divide both sides by 24. 672 divided by 24 is 28. Okay, so that is your answer. X is 28 classes.